Damar Hamlin, one of the NFL players for the Buffalo Bills, and more importantly, an amazing person, unfortunately suffered a cardiac arrest in yesterday's game. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what caused this, and probably the leading cause is something called commotio cordis. Now, what this is when someone takes a blunt force trauma to the chest. It's usually seen when there are pucks, baseballs, lacrosse balls, things like that, that can cause high impact to the chest and that ultimately cause you to go into cardiac arrest. In this case, it seemed like there was a direct hit by the helmet of another football player, and that would probably be the reason that this occurred. Now, that's not to say this is definitely why it occurred, but it would be the leading cause based on what we saw. I'm not going to show the tape of what happened, but it definitely was a clear impact. And the way that commotio cordis works is that impact also has to be at a very specific time in the cardiac cycle. So when you look at an EKG, you have generally a P wave, which is when the atria are contracting of the heart, a QRS complex, which is when the ventricles are contracting, and then a T wave, which is when the heart is repolarizing. Now, if you get hit during that T wave period, this is the critical window for when commotio cordis can occur. Now, because this window is so small and the contact has to be direct and impactful right during that window, this is such a rare freak accident, but it is possible to happen in sports and something that you hope you never see. Now, there's a lot of theories going around as to why he may have gone into cardiac arrest. A lot of people are throwing out the fact that it's due to vaccines. I don't think that could be farther from the truth. Yes, in science, we should take all theories, but I think it's very disingenuous to start throwing around that agenda, at least during this time when we do see a clear impact. This is a known sports medicine injury and could have been the reason for the cardiac arrest. Now, in terms of recovery, what is a very scary fact, and the reason why CPR is so important to know, is that outside of the hospital setting, if someone goes into cardiac arrest and requiring compressions, AED, there's generally a very low, sometimes less than 10% chance of survival. Now, luckily in this case, he was given CPR right away, an AED was used, and it sounds like he was shocked back into a rhythm and he did regain a pulse. And so reports show that he is now in critical care, which makes sense after a cardiac arrest. He's likely intubated and sedated, and usually around 24 to 48 hours after is going to be the most important window where they will take a CT scan of the brain and see to what extent, if any, is there anoxic brain injury. This means, was there a loss of oxygen to the brain causing damage? And this usually will happen with cardiac arrest, as even if you're doing great compressions, you're still not able to supply a normal amount of oxygen to your vital organs, such as your brain. So the next 24 to 48 hours will be very telling. My prayers go to Damar, his family, the entire Bills organization, the NFL at large, and really anyone that has seemed to be affected by this, which is a lot of people. Also, I think it's important to note that Damar is not just a football player. He seems like an amazing human being. He had a toy drive for children, so I'm going to link that below, and you could donate if you so wish. It seems like a lot of people are showing support by donating to this cause, which is an amazing toy drive for children. So if you're interested, again, I'll leave that link below. I hope this was educational for you, and let's all hope for the best for Damar.